Okay, well, doing some Wi-Fi hopping there. How is everybody today? Oh, hi. What's up? All right. Welcome to today's live stream. It's number 2 for YouTube. So getting the hang of these things here. I've already done a few more videos before and afterwards. So expect more of that. I'm going with the cursor off my nose. Can everybody hear me okay? Everybody doing okay? Everybody good? What's up? What's up? I might change it up a slight bit today. I was looking at some data because I like data a lot. And it was like people are kind of hopping on, sticking around for 20, 30 minutes and hopping off. So I think what I'm going to do is basically just barrel through my thing. And then at the end, I normally do this anyway, but at the end, I'll open it up and answer the questions out there. Sometimes I engage while I'm talking about these things, new releases and whatever. I think maybe I will hold off until the end, and then I can split it up, and so people can hop around watching it later. So, but anyway, thank you everybody who's joined into the live stream today. That's why we're doing this, right? So, all right, moving on to the first thing, which is the Vinegar Syndrome sale. The very successful. We really, we picked a few products out, and it went over great. So thank you for everybody that participated in that. We are still waiting for product to come in from the second week. We fulfilled pretty much everything in the first week, but we're still waiting for the second week. We're hoping to see. It might be lucky if we get some on Saturday, but more likely Monday for a majority of the product. Now then, there was a huge rush at the end. I think it got shared on social media that it was the last day. So we had a pretty big last day. That is being ordered as well, and that'll be a little bit later. So thanks again, and thanks to Vinegar Syndrome. And there's going to be more interesting collaborations with Vinegar Syndrome as time goes on here. So there's a big one I can't really talk about, but it's going to be awesome. Turn my focus off here and scratch my nose. All right, moving on to events. We got 2 events happening over the next month or so. The first one, of course, I've been talking about a lot, which is Horror Hound. Horror Hound is quickly became one of our favorite conventions to do. We are basically just doing a few a year at this point, but we're always going to do, while we can, every Horror Hound out there, every Horror Hound. And then we're going to do a friend of ours, little, maybe big get together in Louisville, Kentucky on the 11th. It is King Gorilla putting on Video Nasties Expo. What do you want to call it there, Paul, if you're on? But anyway, it's going to be at Planet of the Tapes, a VHS themed bar. So we actually are going to be we'll still bring some, if you're living around the area, and a lot of you do, we do ship to Louisville quite a bit. We are going to be bringing the normal Orbit Jam, and we're also be bringing some VHS with us. We don't really do VHS anymore for conventions because it's just kind of hard to guess what people want. But since this is a VHS themed event, we're going to definitely pick some more VHS to bring. So that is it for us, basically, as far as what's happening out there. All right, used haul. So moving on to the used haul, my favorite part of these things. This one's going to be a little different because I want to show you everything. Well, not everything I'm taking to Horror Hound. I'm showing you I'm taking to Horror Hound. So any of you that's not going to Horror Hound, sorry. These might get bought at Horror Hound. Chances are they will. But if not, they will go live on the site after Horror Hound. So probably in about 2 weeks. All right. So once again, these are not going live on the site at 5 o'clock today. These are going to Horror Hound with me. So no horror convention is complete, for me at least, unless you're bringing some Terrifier. So this is a good collection here. I'll have to fix these lights eventually. Let's see if I can fix them now. Down. All right, a little better. Let's see here. Steel books. Everybody likes steel books. I got one to show at the end here, but this is Zavi's Evil Dead release. This is a Blu-ray, not a 4K. There we go. There we go. And then this is also a Blu-ray, not a 4K, but Return of the Living Dead, really cool. Now, speaking about the Evil Deads and Return of the Living Deads, here, I love these babies. These are nice. These are probably the best shape I've seen any of these. Like normally, if you have these at home, unless you have them protected, usually that stuff really starts rotting on you, falling apart. Media books. Everybody likes media books. Let's look at, these are all out of print. This is the most hefty one. X. Pearl 1. Pearl 2. There you go. And then some people collected this before. I think the 4 other 4K announcements out there, especially by Arrow. This is Crash by Turbine. Turbine's a great company. Crash. And finally, we will show this off. Once again, this is also a Blu-ray, but this is one that a lot of people want. And this is The Thing Mondo cover. I believe it was a Best Buy exclusive. There we go. All those are going with me to Horror Hound. They're not going live on the site today, but if there's anything you want to trade me, best thing to do is to take your movies and stack them and take photos like so. Email those photos to us at webmail@orbidvd.com. That is webmail@orbidvd.com. We'll give you a quote. If you like that quote, you mail them in. And after a quality check, shipped carefully, we will give you either cash or credit. So that is the used haul of the week. And we'll try to get as much done before a Horror Hound as I can here, too. So we'll see what happens. All right, pre-orders. Moving on to pre-orders. Lots of pre-orders up and now the past week or so. And normally there'll be some more we'll see tomorrow, too, before the weekend. So check around 12 noon tomorrow, and you might find some more. But I guess the biggest news is the beginning of the wonderful Hong Kong films from Shout Factory, which is Hard Boiled and A Better Tomorrow 1 through 3. Now that I think a lot of you are waiting for the Arrow Hard Boiled, which I totally understand that. It'll probably be a lot cheaper, I guess. But anyway, those are on the site now. Also on the site is the complete series of Creep Show. That's available now as we speak. Together 4K. I heard Together's good. You might see Together. I heard it's really fun. I mean, not fun, but good body horror type stuff. Naked Gun 4K. This one looks great. We have got a limited amount of this one. And as far as we can tell, this is UK only, but you never know with, I believe this is A24 Lionsgate, but a Hereditary 4K Steelbook. That's available now. Dead of Night 4K. Nice little addition there. Saga of the Phoenix. And these are all from Arrow. This is Speak No Evil. That's the original version. Remember, they made a remake with, is it James McAvoy? Yeah, James McAvoy's on that one. The Apartment 4K. The Mask 4K. Of course, that's a big one. The Mask could possibly be one of the biggest things we ever had. Deadly Friend. Outland 4K. Every sci-fi film should be come out, right? I think that should do it. In 4K, I mean. And then Red Planet 4K. Red Planet 4K. Also out, and this is from Australia, Lake Mungo 4K, Dust Devil 4K, Quest for Fire, not 4K, and then Angel's Egg 4K. And then finally, the one I will mention is GI Samurai. So anyway, tons of pre-orders up. Just get on the pre-order page, and I'll take you right there. We are been talking to our development team for the app that we're going to be using for pre-orders, and they got some very exciting ideas for pre-orders. So cross your fingers. It's going to be really awesome and a lot easier for people to be able to handle pre-orders and for you to place them, and then for us to fulfill them. So stay tuned on that. So that is pre-orders. New releases. Let's go on here. I did not want to bring this up here, so I don't have it. I don't even know why I'm looking for it, but we just put out on the site that big ass Dune set from Imprint. It's a hefty beast. It's over 4 pounds. It doesn't have sand. I think it's got sand in there as well. The only version I think on 4K is the theatrical version, if I remember correctly. And then there is the Blu-ray one, and the international, whatever that cut is on Blu-ray. So I believe the only cut is on 4K is the David Lynch version. Can't remember. So anyway, that's available now. Now that one, because we have boxes that only fit that movie, you can only buy it by itself. You cannot combine it with anything. So keep that in mind. Also out, hey, Kurosawa. This is aptly timed, because I think Spike Lee made kind of although I think the High and Low from Kurosawa was based on an American book, but I think the Spike Lee film is based on High and Low, the Kurosawa film. So anyway, the 4K of that's out now. Also out, talking about big, this is not the big version. This is the Neverending Story 4K Steelbook. Well, there is something big about it, the price. So it hasn't stopped some people from buying it, though, we've noticed. This one I thought would be more popular, but I guess people just, maybe the appeal of like bleeding sheep is too much during the film. I thought this film was fun. Black Sheep 4K. It was a huge rental hit for us back in the day. Agitators out now. This one looks real interesting. Kiwi Cult Volume 1. Kiwi Cult Volume 1. Also Cypher 4K. These are all Australian released. Also A Man Called Noon. And then I think 101 doing the old full moon releases. It seems like the 101 full moon releases are more popular than the full moon releases. But anyway, Shadow Zone. Shadow Zone's available now. Deadstream. And then finally, the Flaming Brothers. That's not final, but there's lots of other new releases on the website, so feel free to check it out. Just get our new releases, and you'll see everything in order of when we add it. And I'm still trying to figure this camera thing out. All right, restocks. Got some important ones here. Now, if you saw the photo on Instagram or Facebook, we got in a decent amount of Panic Room 4K Steelbook in today. Or is it yesterday? I can't remember. But anyway, they are gone. They have left the building. Why? Same reason why Fistful of Dollars 4K sold out like in 30 seconds, because people signed up for a back in stock notification. We have an app that lets you sign up for a back in stock notification that will let you know either by email or text. People overwhelmingly prefer the text, because it texts you immediately once the item comes back in stock. You get a text. Well, that's what happened with Fistful of Dollars, and that's also what happened with Panic Room. Panic Room it's probably been 5 months since we had Panic Room, but the back in stock notifications were still there. If you missed it, don't worry. We're getting more copies in. It's Sony. So go to the product page on our website and again hit back in stock notification. All right. Also, what's another surprise? Like, well, Good, Bad, and the Ugly was not a surprise, I guess. Maybe it was, but also what is selling out before it even comes out is 88 Films, The Cat. We're not getting any more U.S. cats. However, there is still plenty of the U.K. cat. The price is about the same. It's all region free, and it's going to be available. I think we're looking at tomorrow. So if you missed out on the U.S. version of the cat, just stay tuned for the U.K. version of the cat. That's basically a restock. Technically not, but stay tuned. And finally, I don't think we really sold out of this, but kind of we got a big restock of Deadly Spawn. We should be spawning for at least the next few weeks. It's been a great seller every day, but we got maybe would be our final allocation of this. We might be able to get more. Who knows? But anyway, Deadly Spawn, if you missed out, we got a lot more back in. So it's not going to sell out immediately, but maybe by the end of this month, we'll be totally out of Deadly Spawn. All right, upcoming. These we should be putting out tomorrow. Wreck and Ruin, Rebel Film at DFA. This set looks great. The Man in Black 4K. And then next week, we should see our allocation of the Pusher trilogy from Second Sight. And then we will mail that out probably later on in the week. And then after that, also, we should be seeing, we are not making live on the site the big Keep set, but we are going to honor anybody that pre-ordered the Keep from us out there as well. So that is it for me. Just running through that. I am going to go up and answer questions now. Feel free to ask. Are those eyes in the waiting screen Sherry Moon Zombie? No, those are Linda Hayden. We call it Hayden eyes. Linda Hayden from Blood on Satan's Claw, which is considered one of the big three of folk horror that came out in the late 60s or early 70s. If you've not seen Blood on Satan's Claw, it's probably my favorite out of those three, honestly. But no, Witchfinder General is the most visceral one, I guess. But anyway, check it out. Blood on Satan's Claw. Hack the Planet. Oh, yeah. Maybe I should talk about this up front. So, yeah, I spent 3 days in New Orleans with 2 high school friends, actually before high school, middle school, elementary school. And we saw Bruce Dickinson a couple of nights ago. Bruce Dickinson was great. It was great. It's funny seeing someone that's so used to playing stadiums, like the stadiums. I'm going to do my hands. Damn these hands. Anyway, you got the stadium. There we go. You got the stadium, and then Bruce is usually a speck on the stage, but he's playing it up. He's running around. He's fist pumping and getting people to cheer. Well, he's doing that on a small stage. I don't know what the capacity of this thing is, maybe 700 people, but I'll never get that close to Bruce Dickinson again. I did not go up front. I did not need to go up front, but it was fantastic. He actually did an Iron Maiden song. He did an Iron Maiden song. Now, I was with one of my friends, an Iron Maiden uber nerd. I like Iron Maiden a lot, especially the Paul Di'Anno albums. I'm more fan of those than I am Bruce Dickinson's. But he did Flash of a Blade, if you're familiar with that. It's called Power Slave, which is one of my favorite Iron Maiden albums. So apparently Iron Maiden's never played that live. So that was great. And then Bruce Dickinson played the theremin, kind of played some bongos and a cowbell, then also a Mongolian drum. We were excited that the keyboard player had a keytar. If you know what that is, it's the wearable keyboard thing. So, we're like going, it'd be kind of cool to play Frankenstein. Well, they played Frankenstein. So that was great. It was a great show. And honestly, it's one of those things where I told my friends, I don't know if I've heard any Bruce Dickinson solo stuff. Well, I was like, well, no, I kind of recognize maybe half the songs. So yeah, excellent show. So the House of Blues, which if you're familiar with New Orleans, it's a small club. Actually, there's lots of clubs in our town that are bigger than the House of Blues. So it was, it was an interesting place. We had a great time. We drank way too much. I do recommend. We spent the entire first day at the World War II Museum, and that is an incredible, amazing museum. I'd say one of the best museums I've seen in a long time. And I grew up with my relatives, especially my granddad, and then we have an Uncle Jakey. Both of them just told us amazing stories about World War II. So for us in particular, it was an experience for sure. It took us maybe about 6 hours to go through it, and I think that they're shutting it down. So an incredible place. If you're in New Orleans and you got an extra day to kill, stay out Bourbon Street, which we did not. But check out the World War II Museum. A big thumbs up for me. Okay, any Tron updates? And I'm going to wrap this with, I saw another question about Night of the Living Dead, and this is one of those things I kind of gave some false hope for. Not really false hope, just okay, so both well, the two Tron releases and Night of the Living Dead are both Sony. We are pretty confident now that Sony releases we're going to get no problem. When they come in is the problem. We can't really guarantee a street date. I think we might change our pre-order process once we go over to this. We were talking about making Night of the Living Dead a pre-order. However, it's getting close to the street date. And also, we feel like we want to give Sony one more release, if you know what I'm saying. We did Master and Commander, and let's see, Monty Python came in on time, and the copies we wanted for the most part. So we'll see what we get for Night of the Living Dead. We are going to get it, and we were told how many we're going to get, and we're happy with that. If that amount comes in before street date, then we are going to do pre-orders for future Sony titles. Sorry, not for any Night of the Living Dead. So keep an eye. I forgot what the street date's later this month, right? Like maybe the third week. I can't remember. But anyway, keep an eye out for a few days before. That's usually when we get in the product from Sony, and then we'll take it from there. Tron, I immediately placed order for copies of that as well, and I do expect to see it. That one though, the window is very short. I think it's only like maybe 3 weeks before it comes out. So we'll see what happens as far as if I'm going to get that on street date or before. I'm fingers crossed I will. And once again, I think we might be on Sony's radar now, which is great, in a good way. I don't want it to be on a bad way, but anyway, I surely they're telling them how much product we're selling of their stuff, and hopefully they'll keep that in mind in the future. They obviously like movie. Y'all are movie fans. I'm not going to quote movie fans like that, but anyway, y'all come to us because we're fans. You're fans, right? Well, Sony, if you remember, bought Alamo Drafthouse. Why would they do that? Because they want to cater to fans. So I think maybe those ideas are connected. I'm hoping so. And they go, hey, there's places out there that are doing a great job selling Sony movies, and maybe we should do some stuff with them. So we'll see. Wore my Orby shirt to the movies, the old Cinerama here in Seattle. Got plenty of good comments. Great, that's excellent. Thank you. Yeah. In any chance. I mean, I'm always wearing the company wear. Here's one here, but like in any chance to spread the love. We got some announcements with some shirts coming up, by the way. Any news on getting copies of the Eddington 4K? I'll look into that. Let me write that down. If I remember correctly, this is a A24 site exclusive. Is that correct? I think a lot of this might depend on what's happening overseas. Sometimes these are co-production deals. Lionsgate might still own the rights, which is no big deal. Sometimes overseas as well. So yeah, I'll find out what's going on with that. I don't have an answer. Are you getting that cheaper version of Neverending Story that's releasing early November? Any chance to have a cheaper Neverending Story, I'm going to pick up. In fact, this is why I love Second Sight so much. They're going, you can get the deluxe edition, or you can get the standard edition now, right? I like that business model, and I wish more places would do it. I think Arrow's pretty close. I'm like going, okay, we're selling out of this fast, and then in a couple of months, here comes the standard. Anyway, I love Second Sight's model. I wish more people would do it, but we've been fingers crossed for a standard edition for a long time. Looks like it's happening. So yes, of course, yeah, we will definitely carry it, and carry a lot of it. In fact, it probably will outsell the other ones, no doubt. G.I. Jane and Last Seduction in 4K editions from imprint. Good to see. Yeah, that's good too. So Arrow will be releasing Hard Boiled in 4K as well. Yeah, they had it in a postcard. Actually, my copy of Good, Bad, and the Ugly had Hard Boiled in there. I wonder if the special features will differ. They probably will differ a little bit. Yeah, because those there'll be special features that are probably freshly produced, probably by both Arrow and Shout Factory. So we'll see what happens there. Wish it came with spice. If you wish the Dune set came with spice, yeah, that'd be great. Or some worms. Like I think some like some mealworms and sand. I think that'd be great. Dune is kind of like that keep for me. Is this never really works for me? Yeah, and of course, and I think I see a lot of arguments online now about shelf space, right? Like the arrow sets. This for a lot of people, this is about as thick as they can get. Horror Hound, by the way. Uh, anyway, anything thicker than that or something that's hard to fit on a shelf, of course you put them on the top of the shelf, right? But then how much stuff's on the top of your shelf? And then after that you have a problem. I guess the most ridiculous, I'm not going to say ridiculous because I love Imprint to death. I think they're doing a great job. But that Halloween sets is really going to be the one where we're getting it, by the way. But I would love to see how that sells. I think Imprint has already sold out of their own personal allocation of it. We use a distributor who is also allocated from Imprint, so we're getting it. But yeah, and Imprint's going for it, right? They're really making things interesting, I think. Okay, Life is Good says, will you be carrying the Warner Archives version of Curse and Frankenstein? Absolutely. Absolutely. And, once again, it's kind of like giving you two options here. That's the same transfer as the Hammer version. I think it's missing one of the TV specials, maybe, or a documentary. There's another disc that someone said, I think last week, that's on the Hammer version. But anyway, Warner Archives, those we really don't see up for allocation and ordering on our end until closer to the street date. So probably, I'm hoping to say mid-month. Now then the 4Ks they've been releasing have been a little bit earlier, but like it's usually, it gets close. It gets like within a month sometimes with the Warner Archive. So I'm hoping to see those pretty soon. Meanwhile, Sony with Paprika Steelbook restocks, meaning that we will, anything Sony. And I've said this 100 times with the Sony stuff. Lawrence of Arabia, starting with that, Fright Night now, things like that. Like these major studios, they're not in the business of making something limited. So why not print up a lot more Steelbooks? It's like they're not making anything a limited run. So basically that's great. And that's what I always say. Especially Lawrence of Arabia, I was screaming at people like a couple of years ago. I'm like going, don't buy it on eBay. Do not buy it on eBay because it's going to come out again. This is actually, I think, maybe the third or fourth pressing of Lawrence of Arabia. So they will make more. They will make more. You just got to be patient, which a lot of people are not patient. I just answered this, but I'll answer it again. The Imprint Halloween set is sold out on their site. Will you having to sell? Yes. So, what we're trying to figure out is do we even want to make it a pre-order? Because we're getting a limited amount. We're not going to feel comfortable getting a gazillion copies of this. I mean, if we had our druthers, we probably could sell 20% of what was made of that set, but I don't think we're going to, mainly because we need to store it. Now then, I don't think it's going to last long, but we got to find a home for this thing in our shipping room. But yeah, we are going to carry it. The discussion we're having, the internal discussion we're having is, do we want to make it a pre-order or do we want to wait until it comes in? Just go ahead and sell it. So stay tuned. We'll let you know. Hey, Mark. Hello. There isn't a bad spot in the House of Blues. I agree. My feet are starting to hurt these shows, though. So I might have to start springing for the tables. Do you take into consideration the amount of wish list requests when trying to get restocks for items that have been sold out, or do you always try and get more copies if you sell out? Well, it depends. I mean, if it's a new release and what we see And a lot of this stuff, let's say, what most of you are looking for and what we order the most is UK releases. So we always keep an eye on, because we order those 3 times a week. We get shipments sometimes 4 times a week. We were getting it 4 times a week this week from our UK supplier, our main UK supplier. We have 3 or 4. But anyway, we keep an eye on what's turning. A good example would be the Arrow Bruce Lee single 4K sets. They cool down, and all of a sudden, every single time we're placing an order, we're placing them for all of them. So it's like, okay, let's get a few more. Let's build this up. So we ourselves see the turnover, and just with the reports that we're running. We do look at the wish list stuff. What is a lot of people looking for? Now, a lot of that stuff that's lingering on wish list or back in stock or whatever, they're out of print. They're gone. So it's like that ship has sailed at that point. But yeah, we do keep a very close eye on what's hot. It's UK 4Ks. That's basically this for us, the thing. Do you enjoy any great restaurants in New Orleans? Yeah. There's one that's right on the bottom of the magazine. To Annie's. That's a classic one. We stayed. Our friend has a house in Algiers Point, so we ate at Barracuda, which is a really cool neighborhood taco restaurant. The pictures of margarita. Ate like one of my favorite Thai restaurants is there. It's literally across from the House of Blues. We ate at was it 25th Avenue, a classic oyster bar, cocktail bar, and of course the Bourbon House. We always go there. Those guys are great atmosphere there. Love them. I think that might be about it. Oh, a local Algiers Point breakfast place too. So that's about it, really. That's about it. I didn't really go seek out like traditional New Orleans food, but a lot of that stuff's infused in the dishes already. So, for example, it's like the Thai restaurant has a catfish pumpkin curry, which I guess the catfish would be the connection to New Orleans, but yeah. Hello, hope you're doing well. As I can tell, Get Carter from Warner Archives has finally come in. At Orbit, based on my shipping notification, can confirm whether the units had slipcovers in the end. If they said it was going to be slipcovered, it's slipcovered. We just don't put that on there just to cover our ass. I did not see Get Carter today. I've been up and I nearly came up and just started working in my office up here. So I apologize. I don't have a definite answer for you. If Rebecca's on here, she can maybe answer that for you, or some of the staff. Actually, I can tell you what. I'll message. We'll find out in a second. All right. Are you getting that Zeppelin movie in 4K? No. Our cost is astronomical on that thing. I don't know what is going on there. They're absolutely bleeding Zeppelin fans. Forget it. If you're talking about the Steelbook version, if there's a regular 4K version, we will pick that one up. But, I understand costs are going up for some of this stuff, but this is ludicrous, absolutely ludicrous. We got a bit of a bad news about 6 weeks ago. Get Carter has slips. Just to come back into that. That Warner Brothers is, I think maybe they're licensing their rights to another company in the UK, or there's another company that's handling Warner Brothers. So the prices are going up a little bit, not a lot. It's not terrible, but what that does is when the prices start going up there in cost, it's going to add to the cost a decent amount. It was already, even before this price increase, it was already terrible. It's even more than terrible now. I don't like it. Let's just say another major company in the UK also did the same thing. They left a partnership and started doing things themselves, and they raised their rates a little bit, and apparently it's not working out for them. So we'll see what happens there. Hello, Mark. Nice to see you finally streaming on YouTube. I noticed a while back you tried to contact Discotech. Has there been any updates regarding that? I know Diabolic DVD has partnered with them. Yeah, just use Jesse. I don't think even Jesse gets them on a regular basis. He can't really sort of keep a stock on them. So I tried. I'm at the point now of this business where I'm reaching out. I'm trying to tell people, hey, I'm not saying I'm on the bee's knees, but I think we can do business together. Um, they don't respond. We went all out with Discotech. We really tried to, because they're being distributed kind of by Crunchyroll. That was a dead end. We tried multiple ways to Discotech, and we were shut out. At this point now, I'm not really going to expend my energy trying to do that. I'm just going to move on. It sucks because that release slate that they have, what they have in their catalog is what I like. Suicide Club, Belladonna. I'm not going to say Hiroshi Dogi, but they have the anime that I started watching when I got into college and stuff like that, and I would love to carry their films, but they obviously have their business, and I just have mine. So if they reach out to me, I could talk to them. How long do you expect pre-orders for Mouth of Madness to be open? I think a little bit longer. I would say mid-month, and then I believe we're going to shut it down. We are getting fairly close to the end of our allotment, and as we all have learned from Good, Bad, and the Ugly, it's know when to stop. Know when to stop. Now that we might have a gazillion copies available for sale when it comes out to put live on the site, but we, to be safe, because we want to keep our reputation of being able to guarantee a pre-order, we probably want to cut it off, I'd say fairly soon. I think you're probably good until mid-month, later in the month. Pre-orders, like huge burst of activity, pre-orders. And of course, when I think the first of the month happens, a lot of people get paid once a month or twice a month. So there's always an uptick in sales then, and then it kind of peters out until maybe closer to the street date. So yeah, I would say don't sleep on it, but I think you're okay for right now. Are you getting the recent ongoing imprint announcements for what they did in November releases? Yeah, we carry everything imprint puts out. Tron Streets in 12 days. Yeah, that was quick, huh? Hey, Tim, you downstairs? I'm thirsty. New Orleans was great, man. Yeah, I don't know if you heard me talk about it a few minutes ago, but had a great time. Man, really. It scrolls. All right, someone else asked about Eddington. We're going to try to find out our information here. Now then, we have been kind of buying stuff that are exclusives on i24 sites and maybe marking up a tad, like 10%. So if it comes down to it, that might be what we're going to do. But I'll look into it. This is a good one. How far ahead of official announcements are you privy to all the boutiques releases? Well, y'all probably know more than before we do a lot of times. If you're on Blu-ray.com, you're getting a lot of the same intel we are. There are some companies that we do work with closely. For example, Synapse. So we know a while ahead of time of what they're working on. Not maybe concrete dates, but there's a decent amount of companies that give us their when this stuff's coming out, but most of it no. It's just It's just, we know when you know. And a lot of times we don't know when you know. It's just the way it works. There's too many leaks out there, right? There's too many people that know this information. I mean, I'm sure Arrow is scrambling trying to find the person that keeps leaking all the Arrow announcements. New shirts coming, still no sizing charts, so I don't know which will fit me. Yeah, we'll work on that for sure. We'll help you on that, man. My Hitchcock's box sets are on hold from imprint while they figure out the shipping mess. It's a mess. Yeah, my daughter, she does Latin dance in Chicago, and she ordered some shoes from England like last year or earlier this year. It took 6 months, and then she got walloped with basically her tariff was the same price as her shoes. We're thinking that someone in the UPS hit 100% instead of 10%. It's not exactly 100%, so it's bizarre. But she's trying to find some way to contest it or whatever. Once again, it is absolutely blows my mind that multiple billion-dollar international corporations didn't get this shit sorted or figured out before it happened. We have been warned about this for years. Trump was on the campaign trail talking about this a lot. They should at least have assigned an intern or somebody that can get their shit sorted to be ready for it. Now then, in the case of Australia and Germany and England, we went through all that in April. It was a shit show. It took about 6 weeks for it to really get sorted out. And once it does, there's no guarantee that the person that is processing your order coming in the United States is going to be of any help. So it's a mess. It's a mess. What can I say? However, a flip side, and this is, I'm not happy or proud about this, is people aren't. We're getting so many new customers because of this, and people who probably just. I'm not saying they don't trust us. It's people who just shop familiar. They're what they're familiar with, and if they're familiar with just buying direct from Imprint or Umbrella or Second Sight, they've just been doing that for years. So now, if they're trying us and they like us, we're now an option for them. So that's good. But you should still have the option to buy direct from the company if you want. That's how they make the most money out there. So why not, right? It's kind of like when you go to a show, if you buy the music directly from the band that's they are playing, that's where the most money goes. So I really hope this gets worked out. We'll see what happens. All right, so I'm gonna be doing some content, besides these updates and questions and stuff on YouTube, and I'm going to. I really like, I hope most of you can laugh at yourselves a little bit, and especially those of you that maybe have ADHD or OCD or something like that, because I laugh at myself about my own faults a lot. But anyway, Grindhouse really screwed up by making the Beyond box stick out a half-inch more than any other movie on my shelf. Annoyed me enough to put it on the top of my shelf. Okay, man. Yeah. Okay. I do know. I've seen the photos of the Arrow boxes. The Arrow boxes where the A is perfectly in line with each other until it gets to 1, and it's maybe down a little bit and it's back up. I know that drives some of y'all crazy. But once again, it's just the funny things that make you, right? And this, I'm not going to say first world problems because it bugs you, right? So it's that's great. That's great. Go on the top. I mean, that's a great cover, right? So it should be full facing. Okay. How much longer do you anticipate the 4K Steelbook set of A Nightmare on Elm Street staying up for pre-order? Um, if we're not out now, probably be out pretty soon. However, we've had pretty good luck with Warner Brothers UK. Uh, there's a lot of product that we have not seen run out. A good example would be the James Bond set. We thought that would sell out, still there. The first Nightmare on Elm Street deluxe set from them, still there. So they're once again, these major studios are not in the business of making a limited set. So I would probably see, now don't quote me on this, please, and do not take this as gospel, but I would expect to see Nightmare on Elm Street fairly plentiful around the holidays. It might sell out and then come back in stock after Christmas, but because it's going to be a hot Christmas item, it is. Uh, but yeah, we will. What happened is we ran out of our initial allocation. We got guaranteed a new allocation, and it's back up. If we sell out again, we'll try to get another allocation, and if we are guaranteed yet another allocation, then we'll set it back up. So that's how that's working. It's a stopping and starting. But we feel fairly confident that it's not going to be a rare set. One being price. I mean, there's a standard 4K set available for pre-order as well. Do you know if Synapse has any plans to upgrade Lenora? I'll ask him next week. I mean, I'll be seeing Don and Jerry next week at Horror Hound, and we did ask him some questions about some other titles that are on DVD only from them, and they gave us some straight answers on things. Sorry if I missed the answer on this, or I've already asked. Stay for the Tron 4Ks and Orbi shirt restocks. I think Tron's coming out in a couple weeks, right? Really soon. I ordered them. I do expect them. It's too soon for a pre-order for us, or too close of a window that we're comfortable with. And also, it's the Sony Steelbook. So if Night of the Living Dead and the Trons come in on time and the numbers we expect, then I expect in the future with Sony to do pre-orders. Any word from TerraVision on Sledgehammer and Vader? I'll see Ryan next week. I'll ask him. I haven't heard anything yet. Thank you for reaching out about Get Carter. Oh, no problem. Yeah, that's what we're here for. When do you think you'll have the pre-orders up for the regular version of Zeppelin 4Ks? I don't care if it steals. Yeah, we were being just initially solicited, I believe, on a Steelbook version. Regular versions we'll just see pop up because they're not as rare as a Steelbook is sometimes. So I would say pretty soon. Once again, this is going to be a hot. If they do sell it, this will be a Christmas present. So we should see that up pretty soon. Oh. God, talking too much here. Okay. Will you be carrying any Jacob's Ladder 4Ks? Yes. Will there be any Synapse sale anytime soon? Yeah, we were trying to work on one. I'll talk again to Don and then our rep, our go-between. But I'm down. He's down. Let's make it happen. Yeah, we have a trade surplus with Australia. There's even tariffs on Australia products, which is crazy. Yeah, so that means, if you don't know what that means that Australia actually imports more per capita, I guess, more American products than we import Australian products. So that's called a trade surplus, and that's usually a country that you want to do business with and that you want to be friendly with. And once again, I'm not trying to get political. I'm just talking economics here, and this is economics. But yeah, there was absolutely no reason for, I think, both the UK and Australia to have anything put upon them. Even if they say the trade agreement's worked out, there's still going to be a baseline 10% for every country in the world. So keep that in mind as well. Any news on the Murder Set Pieces 4K release from Massacre Video? I have no idea what's going on with there. I don't. I avoided the Godzilla Criterion set because I can't fit it anywhere on the glue issues with the sleeves. Yeah, that is a bizarre one. However, I guess we got in through a trade. Someone sells custom Godzilla cases, by the way, so that might be something to consider. And honestly, I hate the Criterion is usually amazing, but like I don't have an example here. I hate those hard paper or cardboard like board type thing, and then the disc slips in the board like a pocket. I hate those. Hate them. Hate them. Hate them. Hate them. And that's the Godzilla set. Actually, I have one over here where the glue got on one or two of the discs, the adhesive in the pocket. So yeah, I do recommend if you want that set, and that's an amazing set, by the way. Look for the custom ones on eBay or Etsy. I think Etsy might have those. Keep an eye on that. In fact, a lot of these like major sets will have like there's like usually not usually, but sometimes Etsy versions. Collector's OCD should be a diagnosis. Yes, that is correct. Well, I mean, OCD leads you into these hobbies anyway, right? Was there ever a time you skipped a release because you hated the packaging? For me, it's Criterion's Train Spotting 4K. I don't know what they're thinking with that one. Once again, that could be one where there could be a custom, like Etsy or eBay case made for you. So that Criterion Train Spotting is amazing, by the way. I have it at home. And I'm okay with the packaging on that one. But I agree. Yeah, check out custom cases. There might even be a website for this stuff. I guess Big Trouble in Little China is going to be the last Carpenter film to get a 4K disc, huh? 20th Century Fox. See what happens. Do you think the Mask 4K limited edition will sell out? How's it going? Yes. How's it going on the site? It's one of the biggest. It's one of the biggest Arrow titles and one of the biggest American releases that we have seen already out of the gate. It hasn't surpassed anything yet as far as those numbers go, but I feel they gave that enough time to sell. And the closer we get to date, this is a holiday thing too, right? And the Mask is one of those titles that I think sort of transcends the hardcore collectors market. So people will be wanting the Mask. People buy, they'll want it for Christmas or whatever, and that will sell out. I believe it will be like Dark City and sell out before it comes out. So keep that in mind. Do you have access to the overseas standard 4K releases of both Trons? I will once that information comes up. Sony's been great with, and thank you, Sony, for making the standards in the UK, and then of course the steel books on both sides of the Atlantic. Jesus. Let's see. Okay, we're good there. Are you getting any more of Cat from 88 Films, do you think? Yes, we are getting the UK version, which is region free. It's the exact same version as the American version, except for, of course, let's see if I can find it. It's going to have something like this on it, which might be on the J card. Talk about OCD. Some of y'all don't like that either. So anyway, we probably will go live with those tomorrow. We got a decent stock of it, almost as much as the American allocation we had left over after pre-orders. So yes, and then that one we expect to sell out eventually. Looks like we're probably going to be able to hit a couple of restocks before that happens. Any word on whether there'll be a G Kids version of Angel's Egg? I have not heard anything. You might have heard something. Oh, great. Midnight Dave. All right. Regarding the Criterion set with the glue, the Godzilla set that will replace the damaged disc for free. Well, great. I'll ask my rep. Let's see what's going on there. And then Kevin mentions the seller for the Godzilla covers. Etsy seller, custom covers. Custom covers. So that's 3 C's, custom covers. Need Dumb and Dumber next. 4K set next. Well, yeah. Warner Brothers is licensing they're letting stuff go, so why not, right? Still no word on a Brain Dead 4K. Yeah, I wouldn't expect anything before the end of the year. That's I would put that in top 5 maybe requested films to come out. So, and also is like, will they release all 3 of those early Jackson films together? Will it be Bad Taste, Meet the Feebles, and Dead Alive or Brain Dead? Maybe they're bidding right now on it. Who knows? Well, this is a lie, but thank you. I know it's kind of your job, but you do an amazing job of staying on top of seemingly every release. No, I just got back from New Orleans, so I'm good at bullshit basically. And I'm kind of surprised. I usually give at least one or two wrong pieces of information daily during these things, but anyway, yeah. Thank you. It sounds like I'm doing my job well enough to get by. How's the 4K TMNT selling? Looking like a sellout? Yes, it's going to sell out like the Mask. And that one even more than the Mask, because that's going to, you're talking about the scope of the Mask outside of our, fan base and stuff like that, the people that collect physical media. TMNT right before Christmas. Yes, that is going to be, I think that could be the biggest thing we'll ever carry, even bigger than Good, Bad, and the Ugly. So these are all Arrow titles I'm talking about. It's funny. It's all Arrow, but they're killing it. Arrow's killing it. All right. Am I caught up? Look at me. That's it. Okay. Excellent. That's an hour. Perfect. So to recap, the Cats. We will be putting out UK copies probably tomorrow. What else are we going to talk about here? We're going to Horror Hound. I'll see you there. I'm bringing some rarities. And y'all have a great weekend. Still beautiful weather here. It was actually really nice in New Orleans, like maybe mid-80s. Still humid. But yeah, take care.